Welcome to this Blackboard tutorial on deploying a LockDown browser test. This tutorial will walk you through the steps of deploying a test that will require students to use LockDown browser. LockDown browser prevents students from using information from your Blackboard site while taking a test. It also blocks students from printing or copying the test or using other websites or programs during the test. In order to set up a test to use LockDown browser, it must already be deployed in Blackboard. This tutorial assumes that you have already created a test and deployed it. If you need assistance with deploying a test in Blackboard, please see the video tutorial entitled Deploying a Test in Blackboard. This video also assumes that you will require students to use the Distance Learning Testing Center to take the test. If you will not require your students to use the Testing Center, please view the video entitled Deploying a LockDown Browser Test, Non-Proctored Edition. First, I'll verify that I have a test already deployed. Click Tests and Quizzes. Here we can see there is a test that has been deployed. I will demonstrate deploying for LockDown browser using this test. To access the LockDown browser settings, click Course Tools in the Control Panel. Scroll down and click the Respondus LockDown Browser menu item. The first time you enter the LockDown browser area, you'll be offered access to training and other resources provided by Respondus. Please feel free to take advantage of these resources if you wish. If you don't want to see this page when accessing the LockDown browser area in the future, you can click the Don't Show This Page Again checkbox. When you're ready to proceed, click the Continue to LockDown Browser button. Please note the warning shown here and do not change the test name, the Open Test in a New Window setting, the Require a Password setting, or the password after activating the LockDown browser settings. Click the drop-down beside the exam name, then click Settings. Select the radio button beside Require Respondus LockDown Browser for this exam. The LockDown browser requirement will cause a password to be inserted into the Blackboard test options. Students will not see this password and will not need to know it. LockDown browser handles this password behind the scenes. There is an option for an additional password which you must add when using the Distance Learning Testing Centers. The additional password keeps students from being able to take the exam at home even if they download LockDown browser. This password will be entered by the proctoring staff for the student to begin the exam. Click the plus beside Advanced Settings to see additional configuration options. The option to lock students into the browser until the exam is completed should not be used for Testing Center proctored exams. The Testing Center does not use iPads, so you should not enable the Allow Students to Take the Exam using an iPad setting. You can allow students to access specific websites during the exam by turning on the option. You will then define the acceptable domains, each one separated by a comma. Use this option if your exam links to material on websites outside WKU Blackboard. For example, use this option if you have a question that links students to a diagram or chart on a different website. There is also an option to enable access to a calculator on the LockDown browser toolbar. Enable this option if it is applicable to your test. The Testing Center will not provide any opportunity for students to print, so there is no reason to enable printing from the toolbar. Once you are finished, click the Save plus Close button. Scroll up and click Tests and Quizzes. Notice that the name of the test has changed to indicate that it requires LockDown browser. Now we'll go back and check the Blackboard settings for this test. Click the drop-down menu and select Edit the Test Options. Scroll down. Notice the password listed here. In instances where a proctoring site cannot install LockDown browser, proctors can enter this password to allow students to take the test in another browser. You should not change this password as it is managed by LockDown browser. You must send this password and the password you entered previously to the Distance Learning Testing Center. Click Cancel to exit the test options. If you have questions or need further assistance, please contact the ITS Service Desk at 270-745-7000 or online at wku.edu/its.